Now, in this video, we are going to take up one more concept, the none value. The none value represents the absence of a value. That means it doesn't return any value. None is the only value of the none type data type, just like the Boolean true and false values. None must be typed with a capital letter N. What does it mean? Whenever I want to type a Boolean value, I will going to use capital T, true. And similarly, for false, we will be using F. So these are the two keywords. Similarly, none is also a keyword wherein N is the capital letter. Now, this value without a value can be helpful when you need to store something that won't be confused for a real value in a variable. Suppose in a variable, if I want to define a function like length, wherein I will say the length of hello. So in such case, what I am trying to do, hello is a string. So I want to count the number of characters in that particular string, which is hello. So we have 5. So what should be the return value of that string? The return value of that string is 5. So that is how the value is returned in a function. But if the function doesn't return any value, then it becomes a none value. Now, one place where none is used as the return value of print function. The print function displays text on the screen. Whatever it is written in the print function with a single quote or double quotes, that will going to be displayed on the text on the screen. But it doesn't need to return anything the same way as the length or the input function does. But since all function calls need to evaluate to return a value, print returns none. So whenever the function is used, always it will going to return the value. For example, if I say the print of length of hello, then what it will going to return? It return 5. Similarly, suppose x is equal to int input, enter the value of a. Then if I enter the value, it will going to be assigned the value to a variable. So again, every time when I am using the function, so always the function will going to returns the value. So this is how it will going to work. For example, if I am considering, I am defining a function. What is that function? It is a my function. So I will say this function does something. This is just an example. So now I am calling the function. What is that calling that function? My function I want to call. So I am assigning that function with a variable name called result. So the moment when the cursor comes to this, immediately the cursor will goes back to this because we are calling the function my function by a variable called result. So the result will going to be here. So once you call that, so this function does something. So it will print. The output is what? The output is this function does something. So that is what you are going to get. This function does something. Suppose, now what you are doing here, so you are using the print function. Print function doesn't return any value. But whatever it is there in the print function, that will going to be written here. The function does something. Why this is happening? Because since in the print function I am passing a string value, which is this function does something. So that is going to be displayed on your screen. Since it doesn't return any value, that is any real number or an integer value. So what is the type of that result? The type of that result is none because it is not giving any real number. So since result is equal to none, because it is not returning any value, so obviously result will be equal to none. So then what happens? So the variable result will have a value called none. So then we are applying the condition. Is result is none? If result is none, yes. What is none is none, because the result what you are getting from this is none. So since this condition is true, then what will going to be the output? The print this function return none. So you are going to get the output as the function return none. Suppose if this condition becomes false, then what happens? Print the function returned something else. Similarly, I am calling one more variable by name my variable. I am taking the value of my variable as none. So I am assigning none to a my variable. If my variable is none, yes, my variable, what is the value we are assigning? None. So if none is none, condition is true, the variable is none. Yes, the variable is none. Else what? The variable is not none. So since this none is none, so obviously the variable is none. So it will going to display the variable is none. So this is how this function will going to work. What is the explanation? In this program, we define a function called my function that doesn't have a return statement. Obviously, the value will not be returned. So implicitly returns none. We then call this function and check if the result is none. Yes, the condition is true. Additionally, we assign a variable by my variable to none and check if it is none. Both checks should print messages indicating that the function and the variable are indeed none. Yes. For example, so here span is the variable. I am using the print function hello. So what happens? Span is equal to none. None is equal to span. None is equal to span. Output is equal to hello. What does it mean? Now span is equal to what? Print hello. So hello it becomes here. Then, so since you have the span is equal to print hello, so what is going to be the output? Output will going to be hello. Python adds return none to the end of any function definition with no return statement. This is similar to how a while or for loop implicitly ends with a continuous statement. So what does it does in the loop? So it need not have to continue it every time. By default it will going to take place. So it is implicitly it takes that. So if similarly in a while loop, as the condition becomes true, it will start executing the loop inside the body of the program. As it comes to the end, again it goes back and start doing the same looping again and again. So it is implicitly end that it is a continuous statement. Similarly, when the Python adds return none to the end of any function definition with no return statements, so the value will going to be returned is none. Also, if you use a return statement without a value, that is just the return keyword by itself, then none is returned. So this is how it will going to work. Now we will going to check how it will going to functions with the program. So here I will try to write a simple program. Definition my function if this condition is true, so I am defining a function. Print this function does something. This function does something. Then what? Result is equal to my function. I am assigning my function. That is what I am doing is I am calling the function, my function, with a variable name called result. If result is equal to my function, if result equals none, since there is no return statement, obviously the result is none. If the result is none, condition is true, print the function return none. Print the function returned none. Then else print this function does something. This function returned something else. The function returned something else. Yes. Then we have my function. We have my variable is equal to none. Variable is equal to none. Sorry. I am assuming my variable is equal to none if my variable is none. Print the variable is none. Else print the variable is not none. The variable is not none. So what will going to be the output now? Let us see. If I run this program, so it will start executing and it will going to come with a function. So that this function does something, that is this one. The function return none, yes, the function is return none, and the variable is none. The variable is none. How does exactly it is doing? So we will going to try to execute by step. I will go for Python debugger. So first the cursor will be at the top of your program. Then once you enter, you can see. So you are coming to calling the function. What I am doing, I am calling the function my function and assigning to that as to a variable result. So if this now we are calling this function, so what happens? The cursor, you observe, it goes back again. Print this function does something. Yes. So this function does something. Got it. What is the return value? None, because you don't have any return statement. The value what it will going to return is none. So then it comes to this. What is the result you will going to get? The result is none because there is no return statement. So obviously the result will going to be none. If result is none, none is none, yes, the condition is true. Then it will going to execute this function. The function return none. The function return none. So once it executes this, it will going to skips else statement. Then it comes to this. So I am assigning a value to my variable which is none. Then what is the value of my variable? None. If none is none, condition is true. So it will going to comes to this. So yes, the variable is none. So it prints the variable is none. As it executes this statement, it won't go to this. It will comes out of the it will skips this particular statement and comes to the command prompt. So this is how it will going to work with the value which is being used to return the none value. So similarly, suppose I want to execute this. For example, spam is equal to print hello. Now I will go for this spam is equal to print hello. Spam is equal to print hello. Then none is equal to spam. None is equal to spam. What it will going to print? So that is the function. It just prints hello. Okay. Why? If you try to execute this, go to debug, Python file. What is spam? Print hello. So it comes to this hello, print hello. So spam is none. Correct? because the value what you have none is equal to none. The condition is true. So it won't execute anything else. It comes out of this program. So this is how this function will going to work. So, and function definitely with no return statement. This is similar to how the while loop are. Also, if you use a return statement without a value, then none is returned. So here in this case, if you see a return statement with none value, a return statement with none, there also it will not be able to give back any the return value. This is how the none type data type works in Python program. Thank you.